I'm back with another round of box office predictions. A little bummed I didn't really get back on track last weekend, but I have to give Den of Thieves some credit for basically exceeding my expectations. But before we get there, kicking it off with what was #1 last weekend, it was Jumanji with $19.5 million. Then it was 12 Strong at #2 with $15.8 million. Den of Thieves followed right behind with $15.2 million. At #4, it was The Post with $11.7 million. And then The Greatest Showman closed out the top 5 with $10.6 million. I really hope this is my chance to get back in the game here, but admittedly, this weekend, predicting #4 and 5 might be a bit of a challenge. We have movies from last weekend that might earn those spots, but on top of that, there's a select few of Academy Award nominees getting wider expansions this week, and they could be in play as well, but gotta predict something, so I'm putting 12 Strong at #5. I think it might be pretty tight between Den of Thieves and 12 Strong, especially when you look at their opening weekend totals. But I'm gonna give Den of Thieves the edge over 12 Strong because Den of Thieves had the better per theater average. But back to 12 Strong now, looking at 2012's release, The Gray, that movie dropped 52.7%, making the move from weekend 1 to 2. Facing comparable competition, I would say. So if I apply that same percent change to 12 Strong, it's looking like it's going to wrap this weekend at #5 with about $7.5 million. Now moving on to my #4, that is where I have Den of Thieves. I actually think The Gray could be a fair comparison for Den of Thieves as well, but again, considering the percent change differences here between this and 12 Strong, I'm going to bring down that 52.7% change to 50% for Den of Thieves, and that might give it the slightest edge over 12 Strong to take #4. I'm giving it $7.6 million. Now on to my #3, and that is where I have The Post, While Dewey Destroys Everything. So The Post is doing pretty well, just not as well as Hidden Figures did. So instead, I'm shifting my focus to La La Land because the weekend after La La Land's wide expansion, it dropped 40%, just like The Post did. So then, if I take La La Land's next weekend percent change and apply it to The Post this weekend, it's 32%, and that dip would leave The Post with another $8 million. Moving on to #2, it's finally Jumanji's week to lose #1, come down to #2. That Night at the Museum comparison has been serving me pretty well so far, so I'm going to stick with that. But the Night at the Museum 20% change in weekend 6 does seem a little low to me, so I'm going to bring that up to about 25%. And if that's how things pan out for Jumanji this weekend, making another $14 million. So now that leaves our new wide release Maze Runner: The Death Cure at #1. I actually think The Death Cure is a better movie than Scorch Trials, but that doesn't mean The Death Cure is going to match Scorch Trials' $30 million opening. Instead, I'm shifting my focus to something else that came out about the same time last year and is also part of a franchise, and that's The Return of Xander Cage. That movie kicked off its run last year with about $20 million. So I'm going to put Maze Runner: The Death Cure right there and say it takes #1 with $20 million. Time to recap. I've got Maze Runner: The Death Cure at #1 with $20 million. Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle at #2 with $14 million. The Post coming in at #3 with $8 million. Den of Thieves taking #4 with $7.6 million. And then 12 Strong closing out the top 5 with $7.5 million. Those are my picks, but now of course I need yours. Hit that comment section below, share your top 5, and let me know, do you think that my top 5 is accurate, or could one of those Academy Award nominees that are expanding this weekend actually steal one of those spots? Because I think it's totally possible. Hit the comment section, share your thoughts right there. And before we close this out, a special Patreon shout out today goes out to a Patreon newcomer. It's David Humphrey. David, thank you so much for joining the campaign. I'm so happy you're part of the team. Thanks to everybody out there watching this video right now. Please like and share, and I'll check back in next week to see how I did. Share some new box office predictions with you too. Bye, guys.